Tunis International Radio, English program.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. It's English Hour with Hayatu Kibri in the studio today and Janet Wahrani on the technical engineering side. Today, our guest is Mr. Belkacem BOUTAYEB, who is the International Division Manager of Dar al-Mal Islami group in Geneva, and he has come to tell us about Islamic banking. So for those of you who'd like to know more about Islamic banking, stay with us. We'll be back right after the first track for you. Stay with us.
Don't know much about history, don't know much biology, don't know much about a science book, don't know much about the French I took, but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be. Don't know much about geography, don't know much trigonometry, don't know much about algebra, don't know what a sliding rule is for, but I do know 1 and 1 is 2. And if this one could be with you, what a wonderful world this would be. Now I don't claim to be an A student, but I'm trying to be. For maybe by being an A student, baby, I can win your love for me. Don't know much about history, don't know much biology, don't know much about a science book, don't know much about the French I took, but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be. La ta 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 ta. History, biology. Well, la ta 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 ta. Science book. French I took. Yeah, but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
Welcome back. It's English Hour. Our guest today, Mr. Belkacem BOUTAYEB, who is an expert in Islamic banking and former International Division Manager of Dar al-Mal al-Islami group in Geneva between 1982 and 1986, and the General Coordinator of the implementation of the first of the three first Islamic banks in West Africa, in Senegal, Niger, and Guinea. And today he is here in Tunisia, and he will tell us more about his visit. So hello, Si Belkacem.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Welcome to Tunisia.
Thank you so much.
You are in your second country.
Thank you so much. So happy to come to Tunisia.
Thank you.
I was invited to attend the third anniversary celebration of Banca Zitouna, along with international bankers, scholars, and experts in Islamic finance, to listen, learn, and exchange on the future of this new, innovative, and alternative financing system.
Right. Okay. So this is the purpose of your visit to Tunisia then, to attend this event and to exchange with experts in the same field, ideas and experience and expertise in the field of Islamic banking. So first of all, for our listeners, we really hear too much about Islamic banking. And first of all, how about a definition of Islamic banking? What is Islamic banking? And then we will talk about how different it is from conventional banking.
Yes. Islamic banking is the ethical, participative, sharing financing system recognized by the Western bankers to be the appropriate and right alternative to prevent the world economies from bankruptcy and overall crisis. and it was recognized to be the solution for the new world economies based on real economy and not on speculation.
Right. This system, which was the first country which tried to implement the Islamic banking in their banking system?
The first experience in the Arab world was in Egypt with the Bank al-Masraf al-Qarya. It was a sort of solidarity, participative financing experience. But at that time, I would say they had no techniques, no technology to develop the system on a large national scale or regional basis. We had to wait until the early 80s to see growing the first organized Islamic banking groups like Dar al-Mal Islami with Prince Mohammed al-Faisal, the son of former King Faisal. And then you had this Al-Baraka group, whom you know very well in Tunisia.
Yes, sure.
And then we had Rashid in Saudi Arabia. And then with the implication of petrodollar economies like the Gulf countries, we started moving to Malaysia, Indonesia, Iran, Pakistan. And we consider that up to now, the Islamic banking is just starting its first steps to try to make the religious precepts and the economics based on beliefs and ethics compete with the conventional system, which is well established, but unfortunately showed its limits since especially 2008, where we had this huge international crash.
How different is Islamic banking from conventional banking? What specifies it?
Yes. The Islamic bank would deal with the customer as a partner with a win-win approach.
Right.
And the financing is based on profit and loss sharing system. If we should win, we win together. If we lose together. So we are partners for the best and the worst. And it's based also on the culture of solidarity among the Islamic Ummah, but also among inhabitants of the same village, city, region, or whatever.
Can you give us some concrete examples, just for to understand a little bit more how different it is from conventional banking?
Yes. In Islam, the money, the currency, is not considered to be to have a commercial value, but it's only a tool to develop together and create the growth. And this growth should benefit to the all inhabitants and components of this Islamic community. If we consider, for instance, that the Islamic community is split all over the world, you have in the Gulf countries an excess of financial resources. In North Africa, the Maghreb, we have an excess of human capital. We have a lack of jobs and so on, and of training and so on. And in certain countries in West Africa and Central Africa, we are talking about a geological scandal where we have gold mining, silver, bauxite, all these kind of natural resources which need to be developed and extracted and secure and enforce the economies of our countries. So the Islamic community by itself, with its different and complementary resources, could live by itself and do not need to import food and manufacturing products and so on. And they also can help other countries to develop and to survive.
Right. For the economy to become more autonomous.
But it's based on faith, a good intention, and also on political willingness, which we are unfortunately missing in our countries. We have everything together, but unfortunately we don't practice the solidarity, which is one of the main principles in Islam.
Solidarity, you mean by this people in investing in areas where it is what we call the solidarity economy?
Definitely, people, the solidarity economy, the sustainable economy, the ethical economy, where everybody would bring whatever he has, experience, expertise, means, tools, whatever. We put it together
for the benefit of the
community.
For the
benefit of the whole community.
Of the whole community, right. Now, the main principles of Islamic banking. We know that any banking sector is based on profit. So what is here, if you can explain a little bit the principles of Islamic banking and this concept of profit.
Islamic banking is also based on profit, but profit equally shared. In Islam, trade is halal.
That's right.
And we push people to trade together, to share together, to know each other, to love each other, and to get closer and closer for the benefit of everybody. The main principles of Islamic banking are first ethical. They exclude usury, riba.
Yes.
They exclude illicit things, the haram, like pork meat, alcohol, gambling, armament, speculation, and so on. The Islamic principles financing are also risk-oriented. They do finance small and medium enterprises, which the conventional system is not doing, unfortunately. They finance young entrepreneurs. They finance training. They finance sustainable and human development. The human capital is really the center of the principles of Islamic banking. Everything is based on the real value of human capital. And they're based, of course, on solidarity and risk sharing.
Right, so these are the main principles of Islamic banking.
Yes.
We'll have a short break with music and then we will come back and talk about the restrictions, whether there are any restrictions in Islamic banking transactions right after the next track for you. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Out of the tree of life I just picked me a plum. You came along and everything started to hum. Still it's a real good bet, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? You think you've seen the sun, but you ain't seen it shine. Wait till the warm-up's underway. Oh, wait till our lips have met. Wait till you see that sunshine day. You ain't seen nothing yet. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come, come the day you're mine.
tasted the wine. We're gonna drain that cup dry. Wait till your charms are right for these arms to surround. You think you've flown before, but you ain't left the ground. Wait till you're locked in my embrace. Wait till I draw you near. Wait till you see that sunshine place. Ain't nothing like it here. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come, come the day you're mine. Come the day you're mine. I got plans for you, babe. And baby, you're gonna fly.
Welcome back. It's 16 minutes after 2 on our radio station. And our guest today, Mr. Belkacem BOUTAYEB, a Moroccan expert in Islamic banking and former international division manager of Dar el-Mal al-Islami group in Geneva between 82 and 86, and also the general coordinator of the implementation of the 3 first Islamic banks in West Africa, Senegal, Niger, and Guinea. And we were talking about what Islamic banking is and how different it is from conventional banking. And Mr. BOUTAYEB said, and correct me if I'm wrong, he said one of the major characteristics of Islamic banking is to prevent from bankruptcy and to prevent economic crisis. And the characteristic of Islamic banking is that it takes the customer as a partner. And then we talked about the main principles of Islamic banking, and he mentioned the fact that Islamic banking is ethical, it is risk-oriented, it is then based on the human capital. This is what really the resource it has is the human capital, and it is based on solidarity and risk sharing. So this is in general what we were talking about. So if I go back before talking about restrictions in Islamic banking transactions, if I go back to the transactions in Islamic banking itself, and I would like to take an example just to understand, for me to understand, and maybe to make things clearer for the listeners and for the majority of people who really do not see what difference there is between an Islamic bank and a conventional bank, especially if you go to a bank and apply for a loan, for example, in order to buy a car or to buy a piece of land or to buy a house. So the interest rate, I mean, this is something which is very important, which exists in conventional banks. When you get a loan, you have to pay an interest rate of such an amount for the global amount of money that you get from the bank. What is the case like in Islamic banking? We don't hear about something called interest rate, but we hear about something different, which is sharing. So what is it? Can you explain it more to us?
Yes, definitely. When you come into an Islamic bank, I would advise you not to talk about interest, not to talk about borrowing, not to talk about loan. The Islamic bank would provide you with financing. Either you need a car, a house, implement a small factory, you want to trade, you want to make your small company in communication, whatever. The Islamic bank will study your case, your need, and if you want to acquire a house or a car, they will provide you with
funding,
what we call ijara, which is leasing.
Okay.
الإيجار والاقتناء. Lease purchase. If it's on a transformation or factory, they will provide you with musharaka or mudaraba principles, which are profit and loss sharing. Either you bring a share of the capital or the bank will finance you the total
amount, yes.
And you will agree with the bank in advance how these profits will be shared. Because the bank is a bank and it has to make profits to give proper remuneration to its investors.
Right.
And then you will, because you have run the project properly, thanks to you, to your hard work, we have paid out some profits. Then a part of these profits, 15%, 20%, 25%, whatever, was agreed will go to you, plus your salary, all the financing needs you for the project. So the thing is that with the Islamic Bank, you do not need to have properties, bring them to the bank, which take 3 times the guarantees, and they don't care if you are building your factory or your villa. The first, second, third installment you do not pay. They will put the guarantees and they will put you on failure, and that's it. They do not have any other consideration than the financial, the return consideration. The Islamic Bank will make sure before financing your project that it's a definitely winning project.
Right.
They will go with you, they will advise you, they will share with you the management. They share the management, they share the risk, and they share the results. And they have to make sure that the results will be profitable. Otherwise, the investors of the bank will be disappointed. They will not stay with the bank, and the bank will have to close. So the bank is supposed to be run by bankers, by experts, and also we have this Sharia board, which is very important in Islamic banking.
Right.
These are scholars and teachers in theology, and they have to make sure that the banking transactions are in conformity with the fiqh and Islamic Sharia.
Right. Yes. If I take a concrete example, suppose that I am building a house and I need to financing, let's say 10,000 dinars from the Islamic Bank. So when I pay back, do I pay back 10,000 or do I pay back 10,000 plus something?
No. First of all, I have to tell you that the bank will never give you any penny, any dinar, unless they know what's the purpose of this financing. If you want to build a house, let's say a villa for you, for your family, you are wealthy enough and you have children and so on, the bank will finance the building or the acquisition of the villa.
So they don't ask for guarantees, but they make a feasibility study before to know that there are guarantees.
In case of the acquisition of your house, the house is the guarantee. You don't need any other guarantee.
Any other guarantee, right.
You will agree with the bank that you have no money to acquire your house. So the bank will bring the financing and will give you this unique opportunity, because if you don't buy it today, it's done. Tomorrow will be another price.
Right.
And then you agree after 15 years, 20 years, you will have to repay maybe 60% more, whatever. Maybe in the case of Tunisia, where you have only one onshore Islamic bank, which is Zitouna,
yes.
Soon you will have Al Baraka, which has got an onshore license recently. the financing, the Islamic financing could be a little bit more expensive.
Right.
Because by the time we will have 3, 4, 5 Islamic banks in Tunisia or Morocco or Algeria or whatever, we will have an inter-Islamic financial and banking system. The banks can borrow from each other, not going to the riba financing, and the bank can convince its investors to accept to reduce the margin of profit,
Right.
so they can compete with the conventional banks,
With the conventional
and
banks,
and
that's right.
and make people feel at their ease and feel free to go to whatever system they choose. They choose. But definitely, the Islamic Bank is not a philanthropic. They have to make money, to
Right.
make profits,
Right.
to pay their investors, and also to give you a compensation because your efforts should be paid for.
Right. So it's approximately, I mean, things are looked at from a different perspective, but the notion of profit, as you said, this Islamic Bank is certainly not a philanthropic
It's not.
enterprise. So
It's not.
certainly,
But they would not look at you like if you were an undesired stranger coming to the bank because you have only your mind, your experience, your expertise. No, they will stand up and give you the salute and listen to you,
Right.
because you are a person with an add value.
Why should I choose the Islamic Bank and not the conventional one in this respect? Since I know that I certainly will have maybe to pay a little bit more, and with conventional banks it's not the case. So why should I, for example, choose the Islamic Bank?
You know that in our countries, maybe at least 30% or maybe more of the population do not deal with conventional banks. And for the remaining 60%, maybe there are another 20%, they have no other choice than dealing with conventional banks, because there were some fatwas where they say, لِضَرُورَةِ أَحْكَامٍ.
Right.
When you have no choice, you have to deal with, waiting for. So it's a matter of conviction. If you think that dinar halal is worth it and will bring you more peace and more prosperity and more on a long run than any other dinar, then you will go for that, knowing that if at the first steps of the Islamic bank implementation it could be a little more expansive, you are contributing to the development of a concept which, again, was recognized by the international bankers as the incoming future appropriate system which will serve the real economy and bring wealth to the Islamic world and the remaining.
So it is a more sustainable system,
Definitely.
a more sustainaable banking
Definitely,
system.
yes.
This is how it is perceived,
Yes.
and maybe this would be the reason why people would favor to go for Islamic banking rather than for conventional banking. Well, we will go back and talk